All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the last first Wednesday of the year. And we'll start with Public Works and the Commissioner Zickenfeld. Please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'll open tonight's Public Works meeting. We have a modest size agenda, so we'll get started. Item one, receipt of monthly reports and Citizens Committee meeting minutes. 1A is the November 2025 Highway Department report. There is an attachment. Anybody have questions or comments on Highway Department? Just one from me. Um, I was wondering, Kyle, are you on?
No, Kyle's not on tonight. He had a previous commitment.
No. Can I, but let me ask you,
Yeah.
Bo, and then, one of his comments was the PennDOT response to some of the road conditions across the township, particularly in the state roads. So I'm wondering, when we're doing those reports, and I assume based on the amount of reports that probably a number of us submit, we already have a lot of attention on that. How is PennDOT, processing that and giving us a sense of they will take on the responsibilities? I know we have some road work scheduled through them. You talked about, like, I guess in the April, May, June timeframe. But I'm wondering if they give us enough of a sense that they're paying attention to some of those really problematic conditions.
Yes. There's multiple ways that we contact PennDOT to let them know of any issues when they're reported or when they're observed by staff. Potholes, down signs, obstructed signs, things like that. Kyle does a lot of online reporting. I am old school. I like to do an old phone call. We're actually going to be meeting with PennDOT has a new maintenance manager for this area, and we're going to be having a meeting with him tomorrow to discuss some of the outstanding issues and the timeline of how they are addressed, because there has been a lag in timeline that we've noticed quite a bit. And we have performed some light maintenance, just general pothole patching. So they're going to replenish those materials for us. And we're hoping it's a very productive meeting tomorrow.
Great.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Norris. Sure.
Yeah, thank you. So, Bo, you just reminded me of something, or a follow-up on what you were just stating. Is it possible after, and it's not a rush or urgent, I know you have lots of things on your desk, but after you have your meeting with PennDOT, to let the commissioners know which roads and perhaps some time frame on when PennDOT will be addressing them? Because we do hear a lot about them. I was on Washington Lane today. It wasn't potholes that I'm complaining about. It was more just the road needed to be resurfaced. And Church Lane, Church Road, I mean, there are a number of spots there. But so I'm wondering if PennDOT could give us, if you could pass along the timetable, the time frame.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. The work up on Washington Lane, the conditions up there, that's the result of a PICO project that's currently in progress, gas main replacement. So when that work is completed, that will all be restored. But as far as the other roads, Ashbourne Road, sections of Church Road, we've been pushing them for years to have them repaved. They do have a plan together to address them next year. We don't have an exact time frame yet, but I will let you know as soon as I find out.
Thanks, Bo.
Okay.
Commissioner Cherico.
Sure. Following on this as well, I'm sure we all have a wish list and adding more to your list to talk to PennDOT about. But there were two things that I brought up over the past couple of years that perhaps you could just jot down as things that they could address. One of them being the lack of road arrows on Church leading to Washington, right? There's no arrows or signs telling people what lane they should be in. And likewise on Church at Old York Road, there's a constant, confusion over which lane goes straight, which lane goes right or left.
Dangerous.
No left, straight or right, I should say. So, I mean, if those are things that could be addressed or at least put on their radar, that would be a huge help.
Yeah, definitely. The Church and Old York Road, I had a email exchange back and forth with PennDOT. I think it was a few months ago. I think we spoke about that back then, that they had some improvements planned. However, those improvements have not happened yet. So we'll follow up on that.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Any other comments from commissioners? So I'll move for acceptance of the November 2025 Highway Department report. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Thank you. I'll put a couple together. Item B, the October 2025 Refuse and Recycling Department report. Item C, the November 2025 Parks Maintenance Department report. I'll ask if there are any questions, comments, or additions to those reports. I see none, so I'll move
No,
for
wait,
acceptance.
wait,
Oh,
wait.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ann. I didn't see it. Sorry.
That's
Commissioner
okay.
Rapp.
I could do this later, but as long as Mr. Coyle's there, I'll ask it now. Somebody had come to me with a suggestion that right after Christmas, perhaps we could do a special cardboard pickup. And the question is, whether economically that would work for our benefit if you have the manpower, and whether that makes sense, and make it an annual thing to have a cardboard pickup after Christmas.
Great suggestion. Have we done that, Bo?
No, we've never done that in the past. It's something we can talk about at a staff level as far as the feasibility of it. We are limited on our personnel as far as, especially around the Christmas holidays and everything, but we can talk about it further. There is the option, of course, always the Waverly Road compost facility to have your cardboard processed up there, or dropping it off at the Public Works yard on Saturdays.
And the point being that right now we're still earning money on the heavy cardboard recycling as opposed to paying to.
Yeah, we encourage cardboard to be separated as much as possible. The feasibility of putting separate crews out there would probably negate any cost savings that we saw on that. So that's something we would have to talk about a little further.
Yeah.
Commissioner Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Following on Commissioner Rappaport's comments, I was skeptical that it would be economically feasible. However, we can certainly encourage folks to utilize the Waverly Road Compost Center, and maybe that is a sort of a marketing thing that we can work on that doesn't cost us so much, and maybe generates some attention from folks who want to get rid of all their cardboard boxes that their presents come in.
Yeah,
that's a great idea, man.
I will say we do see an uptick of the cardboard being dropped off at the Public Works yard and compost facility in December and January of every year, for everybody getting rid of those Amazon boxes.
Yeah, maybe we can get Lauren to put out some information too on the website and through other channels. So that's a great idea. Thank you, Commissioner Rappaport. Excellent. Okay, so I'll move for acceptance.
Again, the idea came from a member of the public.
How dare they step on our toes? I'll move for acceptance of the October 2025 Refuse and Recycling Department report. Item B and item C, the November 2025 Parks Maintenance Department report. All those in favor of accepting the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item D is November 2025 Street and Traffic Light Superintendent report, and I'm hoping that Joe Stuckert's on. Joe, just wanted to first, do any commissioners have questions or comments on Joe's continuing incredible reports that go into great detail? So, Joe, I had one. So much of your time, 2.5 of your pages in the report in great detail is on the traffic signal outages and the street light problems and that kind of thing. And it looks like so many of those, there's like a loose connection, a wire, something like that. Is there any preventative maintenance that's capable? Is there a technology or something that could actually monitor a lot of those signals? I know we have some pretty expensive technology that we're replacing. So I'm wondering if there's anything that actually can be able to, provide a signal or something that'll prevent these from being, one-offs. Every time something's discovered, it gets reported and then it gets handled. So, we've spent a lot of money on, particularly in some of the boxes and that kind of thing, in the $400,000 range. So I'm wondering if that technology provides for some of those preemptive things.
No, I mean, the only thing, if we had online access to the cabinets, which then incurs fees to that, it would
Sure.
only tell us when things don't work. It doesn't tell us that things may not be working in the future, or it'll just tell us when things aren't working. Um, and then, we'd go out and fix it. It's kind of the same thing that's happening now. Either we find it in-house or somebody reports something. But there's nothing, and we do annual inspections. So beyond that, there's not a whole lot we can do preemptively.
Okay. I was just wondering because you figure, some of the expensive replacements that we've done, you would think that there's got to be some technology that would be able to notify us, but obviously that's not online or something that we can afford to put into our technology platforms at this point anyway. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Great
You're welcome.
report. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Cherico.
Sure. Good evening. Last week or last month, excuse me, in our legislative meeting, Greta Bunin spoke about whether there is any option for delays on the green light at Elkins, Cheltenham Hills, Elkins, and Old York Road for those turning right to give people crossing the street 10 seconds head start or whatever. Is that something that you have the capability of establishing or setting up, or is that something that we need to ask PennDOT to do?
No, any changes whatsoever that's made to any signalized intersection must go through PennDOT for approval.
Okay.
And then, they give the approval and then we can make changes, but we cannot just randomly make changes at any signalized intersection.
And do you have any idea why sometimes pedestrians are given that extra 10, 15 seconds, whatever it is, to cross, and other times that is not given? I mean, I see it in different.
Well, I believe the questions and comments were referring to making it an all-way stop for pedestrians is what the questions were last month, similar to Old York and Church. And that's not something that we're actually in favor of. PennDOT's not a huge fan of doing those. If anybody were to sit at Old York and Church and watch when pedestrians cross and it's an all-way stop, it actually confuses the drivers a lot more because a lot of times pedestrians just don't wait for that walk signal. So by the time they get the walk signal and all cars stop for 30 or 45 seconds, there's nobody there. And then they see that there's nobody there and they think the signal's malfunction and then they just run through the red lights. I've seen that more often than not, especially, like I said, the only spot we have that is Old York Road and Church. And we actually, when that intersection was upgraded, we tried to get rid of that. And PennDOT said, yes, if the township will accept full liability for anything that ever happens at the intersection. So therefore, we did not pursue it at that time.
Wow.
Gotcha. I didn't realize that was. I did not realize that was Greta Bunin's request last week. I thought it was just a delay, but all right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Bo, in your meeting with the PennDOT new maintenance manager, maybe you can add that as just an additional item to discuss with them about certain intersections that maybe they don't have to do the all way, but maybe they can increase the duration for walk in order to make it at least safer to get across the street. So thanks for that input.
Real quick on that. That won't be something for Bo with his meeting. That's two separate departments with PennDOT. I believe Bo's meeting with the road maintenance, and this is the traffic signal personnel. So we have had these conversations in the past. We've done them in a few, we've tried to implement that in a few locations, and we still get reports that people are not happy because they're not used to it. And it causes more confusion a lot of times. But we are looking into that as we move forward.
Thanks. Joe, this is my 6th year as a Public Works Chairman, and you continue to correct me, and I appreciate every time you do it. Thanks.
I don't want to correct you. Just make sure we all understand.
With that, I'll move for approval of the November 2025 Street and Traffic Light Superintendent Report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll go to item E, F, and G. Item E, November 2025 Fleet Superintendent Report. On item F, the November 2025 Stormwater Coordinator Report. I'm not going to give you extra work today, Sam. I already gave you some. And G, the Shade Tree Advisory Commission Report. Are there any input or comments for any of those 3 reports? I see none, for I'll move for approval of the minutes for the November 2025 Fleet Superintendent Report, November 2025 Stormwater Coordinator Report. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. See, Sam, I do have a heart. Item H is the Environmental Advisory Council, and just one of the points that I'd call out is they made a notification in their minutes about the fact that Lower Merion has now instituted a a prohibition of gas-powered leaf blowers, and they have an ordinance that they've approved. And I know that that's under discussion. I don't know if we've progressed to the point where we have a draft of an ordinance, but I do think that as with some of the recycling issues and limit of plastic, I think that this is certainly got some positive benefit, particularly for environmental and noise issues as well as pollution issues. So I hope that at least we can move that along, if not this year, certainly in the first quarter of next year. Any other questions or comments on that report? I see none, so I'll move for acceptance of the EAC, the Environmental Advisory Council report of November 17th. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Item 2, old business. Update on the 2025 and 26 deer management report. I know we got a report. Is there somebody here who can kind of walk through that if there are any questions?
I do have one question.
Go ahead.
Allison, I'm not sure. Have they been able to get over to the former Melrose Country Club? Do you know? To do any harvesting over there?
Was it? I don't know that it was on the report. Don't recall seeing that.
No, I don't see it on the report. Though I
Yeah.
was just wondering if they were going to go in that particular area. That's all. All right.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything. I know they would have to reach out and work directly with the property owner.
Right.
And I think their solicitor may have made a connection. So I'm not sure if that ever happened, but I know they had talked about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, those
Do we
deer
have
will
someone who's?
migrate across other
I'm
parts of the township for sure. Commissioner Norman.
Do we have someone who's actually giving this update?
I don't know. I think Chris had
And then Chris
another,
is not in today. Yeah.
another conflict. I know he was trying to make it, but I'm not sure he was able to.
There is a written report that I saw this afternoon, but I guess that'll be posted with the minutes, on the website. Yep. Okay. It looked like there were 42 deer that
Yeah.
were called out of, I think the number was something like 270 incidents of visits. So it looks like about 1 out of 6 visit, they're able to call, a deer from it. So, but it was pretty detailed about the locations and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have
So-
them do a final wrap-up presentation. I believe it's next month, if not February.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other old business for Public Works? Commissioner Rappaport, I saw your hand first. I
Okay,
see Commissioner Charco next. Yeah.
thanks very much. So I read in one of the reports, I don't remember where, that they were expecting to do the start on the pedestrian intersection at Rice's Mill and Glenside on December 2nd. So yes, that was yesterday. I haven't seen any action over there, so I'm wondering what the timeline really is now. Been waiting a dozen years for this. So
Yeah.
there's some real interest in.
That is on the list, Commissioner. Hopefully they'll be moving to that intersection next. They've been trying to get to a completion point where they can break away from the last two, which are the trail at New Second and Tookenny, and then Church in Washington. So they were out both of those again today, and the hope is that next week, as long as the weather holds out, they can start at Church or at Glenside and Rice's Mill.
How
So
long do you think it will take once they start to actually have the
Well,
project?
So what they've been doing, trying to stay ahead of some weather, is trying to get the underground work and the concrete work done, and not necessarily finish the complete intersection to keep all the crews moving. And then once that part gets done, then they'll be back to start wrapping up intersections. So, they'll probably have maybe 1 to 2 weeks out there to do that part of it. And then, it most likely will not be completely finished, and then they'll be back to finish it up as we move through it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other, Commissioner Charco?
Sure. Thank you. So I know that we are all working towards, I believe, choosing a contractor or getting the work done, excuse me, on the pedestrian crosswalk on Cheltenham Hills and Whitewood. And tomorrow at the Traffic Calming Committee, we're going to be talking about the speed bumps. What I realized this week, well, two things. One, I realized if you're going up Cheltenham Hills from Old York Road, there is not a speed limit sign for about 0.2 of a mile until the point where you're almost at the spot where we're putting the crosswalk and the speed bumps. Do we know why there's no speed limit signs, just establishing speed limit for people turning off of Old York Road onto Cheltenham Hills?
No, I don't know what the criteria is, but I will pass that on to the police department for them to review and see if it might be appropriate to add one in. Sounds like it would be, but and might need to be in an ordinance. But we'll take a look at that and get back to you on it.
Okay, cool. And then coming the other way, it's only a block from church. I guess it's a block and a half from church. On Cheltenham Hills before you see a sign, but it's almost 2 full blocks, like 2 full blocks basically, until you see it coming from Old York. So I thought in light of the fact that we are seeing such a speeding problem there, maybe telling people what the speed limit is might be helpful. Not that everyone's listening, of course. I understand that. And then that's it. So thank you very much.
Any other old business for Public Works tonight? So I'll close old business and go to new business. We have a number of items. New business 3A. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners authorize leaf collection on Saturdays during the month of December as needed to maintain the loose leaf collection schedule. So I don't know if but I want to talk about that for a second. And if there are any concerns from the commissioners on that or from, residents. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a request that we've made the previous few years. We haven't utilized part-time help during leaf season for the last few years. We are holding the schedule right now, barely by the skin of our teeth. However, our vacation blockout for the highway department ends on Friday. There's several employees that are going to be using some PTO over the next few weeks. So we are asking authorization to bring in the highway department on Saturdays as needed, starting with this Saturday, to run the full cruise and keep up with that schedule and get everything done before the end of the year. We do have.
Do you need an authorization for that ASAP rather than wait for legislative? Should we just take a vote on that tonight?
We should vote. We should vote on it tonight, and Bo should consider it approved.
Okay.
But we will have to approve it at the legislative meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll move that we do authorize Public Works to do this Saturday leaf collection as needed, and I'll ask that all those in favor say aye.
Question first.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Do we have an estimate as to the added cost of that?
For us to run full crews on a Saturday, the full highway department coming in plus the 2 mechanics would be right around $8,000 to $9,000 in overtime per Saturday.
Per Saturday, and you're talking about doing it for 2 or
2 Saturdays, the next 2 Saturdays, and potentially the Saturday before the Christmas holiday on the 20th. It would be as needed. It all depends on how much we can get done during the week, whether we see any weather. Rain like yesterday slowed us down quite a bit, so we're definitely looking to do the next 2 Saturdays and potentially a third.
Any other questions or comments from members of the board?
Bo, you said it was not needed the past couple of years. That's because the weather was worse this year, or
we've done this every year.
Yeah, they do it all.
we have done it every year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Our career here, we've always worked at least 2 or 3 Saturdays to maintain the schedule, and that was even when we had more staffing numbers. So
For those of us at the
an amazing job moving the crews around and maximizing every minute of every day to get the leaves done. However, there's a certain point that we're unable to keep up again. So right now we're holding on and we're keeping up, but the next few weeks is going to be extremely tough.
Okay.
For those of us at the end of the schedule, it's critical.
Yeah, and I certainly appreciate the great job your crew does. I have a lot of leaves that are still to be put out.
Don't make a special trip on that one, Bo.
That's right.
Just for all the residents' knowledge that are on and, pass the word around. When we do finish the schedule, as long as weather holds out, we will cycle through all the routes one more time, pick up any piles that may have been put out late. You can always call us and we'll get you taken care of. But we're never going to leave anybody just out to dry with a giant pile stuck there until next year. It'll be done. You just have to be patient.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Okay, so I'll again ask for the board's approval, even though we'll take it to the legislative session for the Saturday leaf collection in December as needed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Item B. You're welcome. Item B, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve a change order in the amount of $20,000 for Bowman to continue to provide construction services related to the traffic signal upgrades as part of the township's pedestrian and preemption upgrades at the following intersections, and there is an attachment. Limekiln Pike and Glenside Avenue, Easton Road and Glenside Avenue, Limekiln Pike and Harrison Avenue, Church Road and Washington Lanes. Bo, are those the limits to the number of upgrades that we're going to do?
I can take that for you, Commissioner.
Okay, sorry, Joe, go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, so those are that's the project that they're slightly over budget on because of some additional requirements from PennDOT that we had to work out prior to construction.
Okay. Any questions or comments from members of the board on this one? Commissioner Rappaport.
Thank you. So there were a number of items that were they weren't even estimates. They were things that weren't covered by the contract. So things like, I'm just looking, there were several. And I guess my question is, so how is there an estimate on how much extra those are going to want?
So the total extra would be, not to exceed 20,000. That's for the work that is remaining on the projects, which is basically construction oversight and inspections, and any problem that may arise during that period of final construction.
Okay, so that will be the upper limit that we're approving.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from members of the board? Okay, so I will move that we recommend the change order approval. I guess that will go to the legislative session for Bowman to continue the construction services to those upgrades on the attached things as noted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Is there any other new business for December's Public Works? I see no hands, so I'll move for closure of new business, and we'll move into item 4, which is citizens forum. And again, if we have any hands raised, or if there's anybody that Allison, do you see any hands raised? I see one. I see a notorious hand. Okay, Mr. Bransky, ex-Commissioner Bransky, please. You're welcome to tell us all the wisdom that you bring to the party.
No, it's still X. It's not was. I'm not back there yet. Nor do I have any intention. I know this is your last meeting as a commissioner on this committee, and it's till the end of the year. And as someone who's experienced it, I want to just say publicly that you're one of the finest commissioners that I had the privilege of working with, and you've just done a magnificent job. And I'm sure the board will agree that you'll be sorely missed.
I'm not going to take a vote on that one. I'm afraid of the results.
It's nice of you to say,
Thank you, Brad. It is appreciated.
Very nice. Good job.
And I've enjoyed the 6 years of my chairmanship immensely. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. I see we have Mr. Fain. Mr. Fain, you have 3 minutes for citizens forum. Go right ahead.
Thank you. This is a query I submitted. I just want to know which department of person plans, funds, and manages, maintains the long-term changes at Curtis Arboretum Dog Park. This was submitted to Bo and to Sam Brinker, which is not related to her. Who's in charge of the dog park?
As far as general maintenance, that is the Public Works Department, the Parks Department. Any long-term changes, I think, would have to be discussed at a higher level there.
Okay, so I'm speaking to Bo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do I call you if I have any questions, or do I call Bob?
You can send them to me, and I'll get them to Bob.
Thank you. Next question. Who keeps until the sale of Aqua, the sewer superintendent took care of keeping the rights of way over the interceptor A, B, and so on clear. Who is responsible for that now?
My understanding is that all the utilities maintain their own easements. That's the way it's been for every utility I've dealt with in the past. So that would be Aqua maintaining that easement.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because usually the property owner, in this situation, the township, which owns the parks and the Creekside, the bank, you know what I'm talking about. They're as a matter of law responsible, but so you're saying it's your understanding that way. So I'll just reach back out to Aqua and see. I'll circle back to you. The last question for Ms. Brinker. Same area, which is that
Just,
3/4 mile.
Mr. Fain, just share your questions generically rather than to each of the individual representatives, and let whoever is in charge will answer.
Very well. Okay, who's responsible for maintaining the banks abutting the stormwater channel between Old Soldiers Road and Ashmead, the southern bank?
Well, why don't you tell us what your question or concern is?
It's been
I'd like to hear your question, and then whoever
okay.
is involved can obviously make a comment to address it.
Sure. Well, I sent to the commissioner, Ms. Brinker, the report from 2003, where I think that you were quoted talking about the color of the creek upstream, but the section from Old Soldiers Road to Ashmead has been eroding for the past at least 23 years. They have both down cutting and lateral, which in that's in plain English, there's no more bank left. The interceptor, the bank was created to hold the interceptor. That's what happened in 1936.
Okay,
So
Mr. Fain,
Mr.
Fain,
Like
I don't think this is a citizens forum question. I think that it probably it's starting to go into right to know kinds of things, which require
No, it
a
doesn't.
whole separate set of
Who's responsible for maintaining the
inquiries.
bank? It's not a right to know question. Is a stormwater issue, or is it a bank issue? Is it a park issue?
So Commissioner Zingman-Phil, I'm just going to chime in here. This is an opportunity for citizens forum. The questions that are being asked are very technical questions. My recommendation is that staff not be attempting to give answers to detailed questions like this.
I'm sorry, I don't talk to Nazi.
All right, let's close Mr. Fain off when he crosses a line.
Are there any other?
Shut him down, please. Are there any other comments for citizens forum? I see none, so I'll move closure of citizens forum, and I'll move for adjournment of the December Public Works meeting. And thank everybody for their participation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.